What is good, guys? It is your host, Mr. Ghost, with the Real Talk Podcast. The Democrats have opened a faucet that I don't think they will know how to shut off. Okay? We've been hearing for such a long time now that Trump is this, Trump is that when it comes to being a diaper sniffer. Okay? A certified wood chipper, certified PDF. But we've heard from the victims, you know what I'm saying? Over the last 10 years, we've heard from the victims themselves saying Trump's never done anything. And I want you guys to use your brains for a second and truly think about it. If Trump was really into little kids, do you think the Democrats would have sat on it for 4 years and not done nothing? Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Guys, subscribe, hit the bell notification, hit that like button because this episode is going to be epic. I'm still digging through these files. There is thousands upon thousands upon thousands of pages to go through. This is one that people are now starting to kick up on. It involves a representative for the U.S. Virgin Islands, Stacey Plaskett. Go research her up. You'll be very surprised. But this is a faucet that the Democrats will not be able to shut off. We've noticed that in a lot of these files, yes, Trump is mentioned, right? But he's never victimized anybody. So there's a lot of nothing burgers. But when you start digging deeper into the Epstein files, it gets very dark. We're seeing Bill Clinton, high-named Democrats are on the list. And this Stacey Plaskett was the former governor of the U.S. Virgin Islands, where the Epstein Island is at. Well, apparently in 2019, she was text messaging Jeffery Epstein. Okay? She was text messaging him while they were doing an oversight hearing with Michael Cohen, Trump's former lawyer. You know, all about the hush money trial. And they're pretty much trying to get Trump. I'll give you my narrative of what's really going on here at the end of this. We're going to go look at a Fox News host and how he broke this down. It's pretty damn good, but let's tune into it.
Was, and this is incredible, feeding questions to Virgin Island delegate Stacey Plaskett. In fact, let's dive into their correspondence over at the Wall. This was compiled very well by the Washington Post. On a morning of a hearing where the House was questioning Michael Cohen, Plaskett was communicating with Jeffery Epstein. To be clear, this is years and years after he was convicted in 2008 of soliciting a minor. Plaskett was texting with Epstein that morning, the morning of the hearing that was aired on C-SPAN. She texted with Epstein, "He'll talk about his grades." Epstein responded, "What privilege stands behind the non-release of college transcripts?" He then says, "Great outfit. You look great." All caps. Plaskett replied, "Thanks." It goes on. At 10:41 a.m., Epstein, ever the weirdo, texts her, "Are you chewing?" Plaskett responds, "Not anymore. Chewing interiors of my mouth. Bad habit from middle school." Then Epstein asks when Plaskett's turn for questioning Cohen will come up. And she replies, "Hours. Go to other meetings." But then we get to the meeting. Then we get to her turn. Then we get to the questioning of Cohen. And Epstein tells her, "Cohen brought up Rona, keeper of secrets." Plaskett doesn't know who Rona is. You don't know who Rona is. And Rona's in all caps. So Plaskett responds at 2:25 p.m., "Rona?" Then she says, "Quick, I'm up next. Is that an acronym?" Then finally Epstein responds, "That's his assistant." Now listen, this is all of how it played out on text exchange. Now I want to show you the video from a C-SPAN airing. These are time-stamped. So is the C-SPAN time-stamping of that congressional hearing. And you'll see Plaskett look down at her phone as these texts come in and change her questioning, including not knowing the last name of Rona, who she ends up asking about to Cohen.
Mr. Weisenberg and other individuals, Ms. Rona. Who are those individuals? Is Ms. Rona, what is Ms. Rona's position?
Rona Graff is Mr. Trump's executive assistant.
And would she be able to corroborate many of the statements that you've made here?
Yes, her office is directly next to his, and she's involved in a lot.
Time-stamped right there. In that moment, another text from Epstein. What does he tell Plaskett? Good job.
So with that being said, you guys got to see that. You know what I'm saying? He broke it down very well. Here we have a sitting member of Congress. By the way, she's a delegate. She can't really vote because the U.S. Virgin Islands is not a state. She's just a delegate. Let's just put that out there. But still, okay, she has prominence within Congress. She is receiving pretty much, you could say she's being coached on how to target Trump. Listen, those text messages are very damning. Because here we have a sitting member of our Congress having open communications on how to get Trump with a well-known diaper sniffer. He was charged in 2008. Solicitation of a minor. And this goes bigger than this, guys, because if you guys actually go look at her donations, let's go quickly take a look at that, and it will shock you. Jeffery Epstein. Jeffrey Epstein. Yeah. So, yeah, but Trump's the bad guy, right? Trump is the one that's really the bad monster in the closet going after little kids. It's a lot of nut and burgers. It's a lot of smearing. And I have an inkling why, so stay tuned. We'll get there, okay? I have a feeling why. But you guys got to understand, they're out to get Trump, and there's a reason. Okay? We're going to go look at two more email exchanges. This one is from Stacey Plaskett. Yes, that same Stacey Plaskett. She sent this out. Obviously, this is redacted to 3 different individuals. It says, "Good morning, Lisa. If you would share this invitation with Jeffrey, aka the diaper sniffer, I'll be much appreciative. I will be grateful for the support of those that he may direct to assist me. I will be in New York City the Thursday of the event through the weekend. Thanks again, Stacey." Once again, we get this document. This was filed on June 14, 2023. This is documents that the Biden administration had. The Biden administration have had. This is for the case number. Jeffrey Epstein, confidential, high of importance. Okay, should I ask them? With warm regards, Cecily, if I even said that right, Cecile. Not sure if I'm saying that right. I do not care. I'm such Darren, Rich, Bella, Anna Wood. I questions. I'm gonna bite my tongue. Jeffrey, your help is needed. We're trying to get Stacey Plaskett elected to Congress. Sean Malone, current Senate president, is running against her in the Democratic primary in August. Sean is the one who came after you in the Senate hearing last week. He is nasty and needs to be defeated, and we would have a friend in Stacey. Since this is a federal election, only personal contributions up to $2,600 a person can be given. She needs to raise about $75,000 between now and August. Do you think if any of your friends could help with her campaign? Mind-boggling. It is mind-boggling when you see this shit. This is my take on this entire thing, and I might be wrong, but I don't think I am. And once again, I will iterate to my audience, I'll iterate to my team. I am not suicidal. I have no intentions of ending my life. I am very sound-minded. I'm not mentally crazy. But I'm starting to piece together that there is a darkness that is plotting against the United States of America, but most importantly against our president. Now, I've been asking and pondering the question in my head, why are they so gun-ho for Trump, on smearing Trump? You remember, Trump almost got killed a handful of times. 2 times came very close. One, actually, a bullet grazed his ear. The second time, the guy was in the bushes ready to open fire. Why do they want Trump so, like, they want Trump dead? Let's just be real. They want him dead. We got to start asking the question, why? And I think it's because Trump was on to Jeffrey Epstein. That's why he banned him from Mar-a-Lago. And that's why Trump was the only one that assisted the Palm Beach Police Department in their criminal investigation into Jeffrey Epstein. Also helped the lawyer in a civil suit. Now, think about it. You're guilty of doing some nasty, vile stuff to children. Are you really going to help the police? Are you really going to help lawyers with the victim? You're not. Use your brains, okay? Now, is Trump a saint? No, he's not. Is there a lot of questionable things in his past? Of course. But every single one of us are sinners. But do understand, they're trying to silence him because one, they can't buy him. He's not part of their billionaire playboy club. They know that he is not going to fold into them. And they can't silence him. They can't buy him off. He has money. And I want you guys to start putting things together, okay? I don't think Jeffrey Epstein is the top dog in all of this. There is somebody a lot higher than him that's pulling the strings, that is the puppet master behind all of this. Do I know who it is? No, I do not. I wish I would know who it is so I could expose them. But mark my words, Jeffrey Epstein's just a small part of it. He is a pawn within this game. That's why I'm starting to believe, and not being a conspiracy theorist, but I'm starting to believe he might have been off while in prison. Because it makes no sense that he mysteriously dies within prison, then a few years later, one of the victims that was defending Trump magically, poof, took her own. None of it makes sense. And that's why I'm iterating, I'm of sound mind. I'm not going to harm myself. I'm not going to oof myself. So I'm good. But something just don't add up in all of this. Here we have top Democrats pretty much in collusion with a convicted PDF person. But yeah, Trump's the bad guy. Give me a break, Democrats. Give me a break. I'm tired of hearing your rhetoric. You want the files released. Let's release them. Because we already know the truth. The victims were on record saying Trump done nothing wrong. So let's release it. Because at the end of the day, you're turning on a faucet that will not be shut off. Because I believe that one of the top dogs, not the top dogs, but one of the top dogs was a former U.S. president. And no, I'm not talking about the Barack. I'm not talking about him. He's up there, but I'm not talking about him. There's somebody bigger than him that has a history of oofing people that get a little too close. Mr. Little, oops, I got something on the dress guy. I was a big Democrat. I was a big Clinton supporter. But the more I dug into the Clintons, the more I dug into the Democratic Party and the way that party's going, I left. There's evil afoot, guys. There's a huge trafficking ring that's happening, not just here in the U.S., but around the world. And it's being led by a top dog that's very evil. And there's a lot of puppets that are being played within it. And I think Trump was onto them. I think Trump knew something bigger was at hand. Because I want you to listen. Under Trump's first administration, there were a multitude of operations that were shutting down these trafficking rings. Many arrests were made under his first term. I can't count how many kids were rescued, but I know it was a lot. And now he's back in the White House. We're starting to see that happening again. I think Trump might have knowledge that none of us do. And that might be the reason why they're gunning for him. Because they do not want him to peel back the mask of the monster that lurks in the shadows. You cannot sit there as a decent human being, regardless of your political beliefs. I don't care you're left, you're right. You look at this, and within hindsight, and you're not upset, you got to question your moral values. Why is a convicted diaper sniffer having an open conversation with a U.S. delegate from the Virgin Islands, where his island's at, by the way, and being coached? And they're all saying right there in the emails, you're seeing it yourself with the evidence, they want to put people in position that are friends of theirs. They want to push out the moderate and the centrist Democrats that would pretty much not be a part of their alignment. There is a greater evil afoot in this country. So Democrats, you want the files released? I don't think you fundamentally realize the can of worms you're going to open for yourselves. Okay? But I will say this, and I will conclude with this. Checkmate, motherfuckers.